Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about 9 slept on cards from set 15 Saiyan Showdown. Some of these I feel are slept on because they might be sleeper good right now. Some of them I feel like have potential to be good in the future. And some of them I feel like maybe they're not the best cards, but they're actually pretty interesting, at least design-wise or gameplay-wise. And I kind of want to just bring attention to them. Each one will be kind of different. We'll talk about that as we get into the video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, many ways to do so down in the description. But if you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards you see in today's video, you can do so using my link in the description to TCG Player. Or if you want to buy any other cards from any other trading game for that matter, it will help out greatly. That being said, let's get started. So Speed Rush Son Gohan is actually the card that inspired this video. This is quite possibly one of my favorite cards from the set. It's very simple, but I like it a lot. So it's a 3-drop 15k counter attack. Negate the attack and play this card in rest mode. Permanent during your opponent's turn. Reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. Auto when this card's played, choose 1. You can either draw a card, which is probably what you do most of the time, or you can choose one of your red unison cards and add a marker to it, which is also not a bad effect, but you'll probably go for the draw more often than not. Why do I really like this card and think it's slept on? Because it's finally a decent evolve target to go into Dependable Brother Son Gohan, which is another very interesting card. It's not like, you know, broken by any means, but having a better evolve target just makes this card better. So we'll give it a quick read. For a red and a colorless, you can go over a Gohan Adolescence with a cost of 3 specifically, which is why there's not enough or not too many evolve targets for this card in the game. It's got double strike, and then auto when a card evolves into this card, draw 2. And if there are no other battle cards in play in your battle area, choose up to 1 green Son Goten and 1 green Trunks Youth with energy cost of 4 from your drop area and play them. So firstly, the fact that you just evolve this and draw 2 after using Gohan and drawing 1, that's really good value right there. But the other thing you can do is you can play the red-green Gohan Goku Goten card from set 7 that basically says once it's played, if your opponent plays a battle card during the rest of your turn, they have to crit, I believe it's 2 life, and it's an Alliance triple striker itself. So that whole combo, well, again, it's not going to be the strongest combo ever. It's one that I've always been very interested in. I've always been keeping my eye out for a Gohan that Dependable Brother Gohan could evolve over. Now, Speed Rush Son Gohan is not the easiest card to use because it's still a 2 energy negate in red, which doesn't have a ton of energy, but it doesn't require a red leader, which is kind of nice. So maybe you could play some sort of red blue with Beerus super combo, although you'll probably want to be playing red green because the Goten Gohan Goku card I'm talking about is red green. But still, like with Gohan, you probably want to try and time it up where you're negating their last attack for the turn. So by doing that, you know, the Gohan is relatively safe, not really going to be attacked into or removed, and then next turn you could evolve into Dependable Brother. But yeah, I do think this card will have some time to shine, hopefully in the near future. That'd be kind of cool. But I think red green has potential, and this only just adds to that, right? So again, kind of the inspiration for this video, a card that I really like. Then we have SS3 Nappa Golden Invader. So it's a 3-drop green unison, which right now is a very vital stat point because Cell Surge kind of revolves around 3-cost green unisons, right? So +1 is the most important thing. Activate main, your opponent chooses a card in their hand and sends it to the warp. This +1 is kind of insane because it's hand control that plays around Deborah Ritual at hand. I think that's just such a valuable thing right now because everyone's pretty much siding Deborah because they're afraid of Cell Surge. So having this card could be a pretty good thing in Cell Surge if you wanted to play around Deborah. I think the value that Dark Broly Unison brings to the table, even though it does technically play into Deborah, the ability to also remove a battle card and the ability to play the Deborah that searches for the Parasitic Dragon Ball is probably too much to compensate for playing S3 Nappa, but I do feel like this is a slept on card because again it plays around Deborah. The rest of the cards okay. -2 activate main, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than or equal to their current energy and KO them, and then activate main for 2 green and then 2 of any color. If your leader is a Nappa or green Saiyan card, choose 1 green multicolor Raditz with energy cost of 8 in your hand and play it. So that can actually play the 8-drop SS3 Scramble super combo, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I think the +1 is like the main thing there that this card's kind of slept on for. I did also want to talk about Raditz. Now, I do think this is a sort of slept on leader, and I will just say right off the bat, this is super outclassed by Cell Surge. I was actually looking forward to Cell Surge possibly getting addressed on the ban list and how that was going to make Raditz quite a lot better. The front side of Raditz is like technically weaker than Cell Surge because you get a top 5 search, but it has to specifically be for a Vegeta, a Nappa, or a Raditz card, so you're kind of limited to whatever those cards are. But you could search like for Vegeta super combos, for example. The ability though to attack and warp a card, again, I really like that it plays around Deborah, and it's a way for like a hand control deck to be a bit more proactive, because sometimes with Cell Surge you have all the ways in the world to take their hand, but you don't have the easiest method of taking them down to low life without refueling their hand. And that's what Raditz can do nicely. You attack, they warp a card from hand, and yes, they get a life, but they didn't actually like increase their hand size because you warped a card out of their hand, which I like. And this leader's backside is also quite insane. Potential for a triple attack crit, I think, is really good. Again, totally outclassed by Cell Surge, but if something ends up happening to Cell Surge, I definitely expect people to flock to this leader for their kind of just green hand control fix. Then we have an engine that I kind of like. I don't think it's like, you know, over the top amazing, but I think it's actually a pretty decent curve slash value engine. Coco, dedicated to the village. We have a 1-drop 1k battle card. When this card's played, gets to add the field card to your hand, and then the field card in Natade Village Ritual says 2-drop field. When this card's placed in a battle area, add up 2 skillless monster cards, energy cost of 2 or less from your deck to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So playing one card that adds 2 is pretty cool. Activate main once per turn, choose one Coco card, your battle area, and place it at the bottom of the deck. Then choose up to 1 skillless monster card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. So maybe there's some sort of interesting skillless deck you can play with this. And there actually is more than one Coco in the game. There's another set 1, or not set 1, I think it's set 7 Coco that is a 1-drop, and you can basically activate main to discard a card and then draw a card. So you can cycle through your deck that way, and if you wanted to use the activate main of Natade Village Ritual again, you could just bottom deck that Coco or another copy of this Coco and start playing the 2-drop Natade Village monster skillless cards. Again, not like a game-breaking engine by any means, but I do like how this is, you know, designed to work together and that it works with older cards. We'll get into the rest of the cards, guys, but real quick, a word from today's video sponsor. Dragon Ballers, real quick before we get into today's video, just want to share something with you guys that I am very excited about. PPG is going to be hosting the Pro Support TCG weekend in Dallas, Texas, the weekend of November 6th. It's going to be a giant TCG convention weekend hosting all your favorite games, obviously Dragon Ball Super, Digimon, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and more. Tournaments for all those. I'm actually going to be there commentating the Dragon Ball Super side of things, the main event on Saturday, the side events on Sunday. I absolutely cannot wait. And if you guys missed out on Gen Con or heard me talk about how much fun that was, you're 110% going to want to be at the Pro Support TCG weekend. The other great thing too is it's just 2 weeks before Nationals, the biggest Dragon Ball Super tournament of the year, so you can get some invaluable practice there. But besides that, it's a convention. It's going to be so much fun, especially for those of you guys like me that just absolutely love trading card games. Definitely check it out. The link to sign up will be in the description. I really hope to see you guys there. Now let's get into the video. Alright guys, I do hope to see you at the Pro Support TCG weekend, but back into the video. Sun Goten, Journey's Beginning. I like this card a lot. Now, I've talked a lot about these 1-drop searchers that search for unisons. I really like them, especially in monocolor decks. Like, I don't want to just waste my turn 1 energy, but sometimes these unison searchers are so narrow and specific in what they can search that they're not worth playing because you don't play enough valid targets. But this one is pretty generic, so I like it. When this card's played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red sand with energy cost of 3 or less, or 1 red unison card with a specified cost of 3 among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So even though the deck's not really playable right now, this really speaks to me. And like King Vegeta, let's just say it was more playable, this could search most of the Saiyans in your deck, as well as the Jiren Unison if that's the one you wanted to play. I can definitely see a red Saiyan deck coming around at some point where this card is going to be a really solid 1-drop, because 3-drop red Unisons are really good, and Saiyans are obviously the most supported color in the game. So having some like low to the ground, like maybe even like a Bardock's crew deck could benefit from this card. I can see this being kind of a cool thing. Then we have Son Gohan Might Unleashed, talking about a TP card. I love this card. I didn't really get to talk about it in any other video, so I figured I'd throw it in here. When this card's played, draw 1, auto limit 1 for 2 energy. If your leader card's a yellow sand card, when this card's played from your hand, you may choose 1 Goku Guardian Angel in your deck or hand and place it under this card. If you do, Choose one Finishing Blow Son Gohan in your hand and play on top of this card, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Finishing Blow Son Gohan is a Sparking 7, basically double strike, dual attack 30k, that if you have Sparking 7, you can tap all your opponent's energy. I think this is a really powerful strategy. I think this is such a cool piece of support because it is like a really easy way to get into that boss monster, but you still have to play the Goku Guardian Angel, which is kind of like a brick card. You don't really want to draw that card, and you have to be able to set up the Sparking 7, which is not super easy for most decks, especially in certain matchups where like there's not a lot of back and forth going on. It can be tough to build up that Sparking 7. So while I think this is a really good card, of course it is, you know, susceptible to counterplays. You got to worry about that. So yeah, it's still a solid strategy, but you do have to obviously consider what type of deck you want to put it in and how you want to incorporate it to play around certain things. But I love this. This is probably my favorite TP of the set. Then we have SS Caulifla Rapid Riposte. I talked about this card before in videos that I really like it. Mostly I like the fact that it's a 3-drop 15k with Deflect that you can play for 1. If your leader is a blue U6 card and you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand, then draw 1. So it's very similar to Goku Calamity Challenger, although this is tied to U6 leaders, not to Saiyan leaders. Although you do have to be a blue U6 leader, which at this point in time I'm pretty sure is all Saiyans anyway, but you do get to play it a turn earlier than Calamity Challenger, which is kind of cool. Like in a blue Kaba deck where you want to be a bit more aggressive, this could be a 1-drop 15k attacker that replaces itself as early as turn 2. So I think this is a very good card. The 2 energy effect only relevant if you play Kale, which I've gave my thoughts on that in the past. I think Kale is kind of just outclassed by SS4 Vegeta, but still it's part of the card. I just really like the fact that you can play it for 1. It's a 15k, it's got Deflect, and a drew a card to replace itself. And the final card, guys, I just think this is kind of interesting design more than anything, but it could possibly be a good sideboard card in the future. So 1-drop Yajirobe Confronting Invasion, counter attack, and get the attack and play this card in rest mode. If the attacking card's a Great Ape or Demon Clan card, choose it, KO it, and your opponent draws 1 card. I like the fact that this is just like a very specific like type of silver bullet. First, I think it's just funny. Obviously, it's Yajirobe like chopping the tail off Vegeta, right? But I also wonder why they chose to include the ability to pop a Demon Clan card. I don't know if that's something else that has to do with like something else in Yajirobe's past, but still pretty interesting, pretty funny card. I think it could actually be decent if some sort of Great Ape or Demon Clan strategy really took off. Like, let's just say King Piccolo makes a comeback, maybe they get support in the future. Yajirobe can maybe be decent. But anyways, guys, that's what I got for you today. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other cards you think are slept on from this set, and I'll see you guys next time.